Bhante.
Yeah.
I spoke about this a couple of years ago with you. I've been meditating for over 10 years, following the breath, following it quite clearly, and then the breath disappeared altogether. And now when I sit down, the breath is gone. Right at the beginning, there's no breath. But I find this quite a worry when I attend workshops and people are talking about following the breath. So I'm just wanting to check that I'm on the right track, because when there's no breath, there's still plenty of other things to follow. So I'm just trying to practice choices awareness. And I don't understand why the breath disappeared like that, and it's been gone 2 years now.
Can we record this? Can we record? No.
Yes?
Yeah. So 2 years without breath you are living?
2 years with no breath. But sometimes when I'm walking around, I have to check that
so
there's
today,
not something wrong with my
in today's
nose.
talk, I spend about 5 to 10 minutes. You just come and sit. And if the mind is here, now I am, that's it. If it is not there, you have to search the breath. If it is not here and now, you have to search the rising and falling. But if you are verily sure, I am not dead, I am not sleepy, I am not unconscious, entertain this as almost like Nibbana.
Oh dear.
That is the way we prepare our mind, the positive thinking. Because our mind do not like this boredom. Our mind do not like this monotony. Because just being is something monotonous. The mind to understand that I am not sleepy, that feeling is monotonous. Mind to understand I am awakened, I am not unconscious, is monotonous. So we need patterns. We need rhythms. That is why we are happy with the rising and falling. It is like a plaything for a child. But if the mind is already contented, you are already satisfied with, already happy with just being, it is much, much preliminary, much, much primordial than the breath. Breath is the manifestation of this energy. Now you are merely with pure energy, cosmic energy. And from that cosmic energy, only contact happen, visual thing happen, sounds happen, smells happens, taste happen. When it happens, it is almost close to the defilements. But in the pure form, it's far away from the defilement, but the thing is monotonous, boring. And you feel like lost. You feel like uncertainty.
Yes.
Your mind feel like entertaining doubts. So you have to understand, you can earn it, but you can't protect it. Because you are not recognizing with it. Can you understand?
Yes, I didn't quite hear what you last said.
No. First, you earn, be here and now.
Yes.
But you can't protect it. Because you entertain doubts, I am sorry I don't have breath. I am sorry I don't have rising and falling. I am sorry I don't have this and that marks there. So therefore, earning capacity, earning ability, skillfulness you have. You can't protect it because you are not appreciating it. Instead you expect something different which your senses can verify. But this is only the wisdom can verify. Here now I am. It is not through the senses, but the rising and falling breathing, it is yet another seconding from your bodily tactile sensation. So even without the tactile sensation of the touch of your air, you can verify that I am not dead. I am not sleepy. I am not unconscious. Because this is a vast area, more primordial, more pure. And you are human.
Thank you.
So then it is a matter of recognition. This is a kind of, already you have this endowment, but you fail to recognize it. That is called, you know how to earn it, you don't know, but you don't know how to protect it.
I'll have to think of that. or meditate about that.
That is what called radical reflection. It is not conventional way. That's not the linear thinking. You now see, and I will use few exercises when you come and sit or while you are doing walking meditation, when and where you come to here, now I am. No rising and falling, no nothing, but you can feel here, now I am. Check whether someone can rob it from you. Check whether you can give it to someone. Check whether anything in the world that disturb it. Nothing can disturb. Here, now and moment is so powerful, so prevailing, so pervading, and nothing can disturb it. So that is your best Kalyanamitta, your noble friend. So keep it there. Who the hell can disturb it? So you are already a king or queen. But instead, if you are going to compare it with something, the sensuous seconding, that means you are expecting very childish thing, a plaything, rather than very basic, pure energy. And check from the morning when you open your eyes to the last moment you fall into sleep, where the point that you can't be here and now. No. Multitasking, whether you are male or female, all, west or east, nothing. Each and every moment, whether you know or not, you know it or do not know, you can be awakened into here, now I am. Even if you are suffering, even if your mother died, even your child immature death, even your any thing happen, you can be aware of. Do you think that is possible for any other being than humans? That is the more greatest thing in the human life, whatever the amplitude, very happy for the hilarious thing, or very deep, discouraging thing, still you can be aware. That very awareness is what you call awakening. That is what you call awareness is the call, that is liberation. So you are excused to explain in Sinhala. I will translate it to English, but you have to tell whether my translation is authentic. Then we can go ahead. Why don't you use it? All very hard Singlish katti. Singlish can understand. Mic එකෙන් ඇහෙන්න ඕනේ. Tamanda ඇහෙන්න ඕනේ මේකේ සද්දේ තමයි කටහඬ. ඒකට තමයි හරියන්නේ.
ගරුතර ස්වාමීන් වහන්සේ ඔබ වහන්සේ walking meditation ගැන අපිට ගොඩක් ඒකේ වටිනාකම කිව්වට පස්සේ මම walking meditation අවුරුදු ගාණක් කරනවා. ඒ walking meditation කරනකොට මම මුලදී ඇටසැකිල්ල ගැන ඇටසැකිල්ලත් ඇවිදිනවා. නැත්නම් සතර මහා ධාතු ඇවිදීම මේ ශරීරයේ ගැන හිත මේ අවධානයෙන් ඇවිද්දා ඊට පස්සේ මේ කකුල ස්පර්ශ වෙන හැටි يعني පොළවට තදවෙන හැටි එහෙම වම දකුණ හැටියට වහසේ හැදිලි කරන හැටියට ඒක කරා දැන් මට දැන් walking meditation කරනකොට මට හුස්මත් එක්කම දැන් හුස්ම ගන්නකොට කකුල පාදිලි වෙනවා එහෙම එනකොට හුස්මත් එක්කම සක්මන් කිරීම පුරුදු වෙලා තියෙනවා. ඉතින් හිමින් සක්මන් කරනකොට එක පියවරක් යනවා ටිකක් වේගෙන් යනකොට පියවර දෙකකට ඒ වගේ ඊට පස්සේ එහෙම විනාඩි 40ක් විතර භාවනා කරලා පස්සේ වාඩි වුණාම අර ඒ හරිම පහසුවක් දැනෙන හුස්ම අල්ලගෙන ඒකත් එක්ක භාවනා කරන්න ඒ තමයි අවුරුද්දක් කරගෙන යන්නේ කොහොමද ඒක වැඩි දියුණු කරන්නේ කොහොමද කියලා මම දැනගන්නයි.
Okay, I will try to put it to English. You have to see whether I am doing a correct translation. I will do in a precise way. when you are walking, your main attention is to see the impact of the sole on the ground. That is left leg or right leg. Well, now, after a long time, after practicing, now you get another criterion whereby while with the lifting and dropping movement, in-breath and out-breath coincides. In-breath also happening. So, when that happens, whether it is a conducive factor or supporting factor to the meditation or not, that is your question. So, my answer is, when you are crossing a footbridge, a dandaka, you have a one rail. So you always make use of one rail in order to give the balance. If there are two rails, is it a disturbance or a support? That's all. So you have two verifiable points. One thing is touching of the ground, and rhythmically it is coinciding with the in-breath and out-breath. So you are walking on the footbridge with two rails. And only the thing you are measuring against your mindfulness. If the mindfulness is gaining, anything valid. It says in English, for the sex, anything valid. For the war, anything valid. I am telling for Vipassana, anything valid. As far as Vipassana is developing. Anything valid. So that is why we completely look at our life. We completely look at the world, completely new way. We are nothing but development of mindfulness. Anyone appreciating it or not, I don't care. It's a long time experimenting only. I have to say, your idea is okay, but I am the only very person in the subject making use all the tactics and the tools in order to develop mindfulness. If it is developing, I think Buddha is in my side. Even the whole world is not with me. That is the point I find Buddha is a kind of a revolutionary person, helping a person like Dhammajiva. Because I know he is with me. Because in long time I am going to prove it. Don't ask me what are the techniques I am using to be mindful. I use everything. But at the beginning, of course, we use noting, we use walking meditation and kind of, they are the conventional, traditional, authentic method. At the end, anything valid. Because you are not using it for your fame, gain, or sensuous pleasures, nothing. Ultimately, you know, and in order to highlight it, how many tactics the Buddha has used, how many epithets and examples he sets. Ultimately, no one can comprehend who Buddha is, because his thing is practical, pragmatic. Meanwhile, there is a universal theory, universal satipatthana. But according to individual likings and disliking, he adapts. He tailor according to the person. And ultimately, 45 years, he was giving one way or the other. With different methods. So very aesthetic, very practical, very pragmatic and very sound in grammar. When compared with the other teachers, nothing lacking. So, Eka Jayasri Mangalam. That in Sinhala, we call Eka Jayasri Mangalam. Take it also as a additional support. And you are not using just to entertain the methodology, but you are going to try how much I am refining my mindfulness. And diversification of mindfulness. So, anything on the way happens, if it is giving you self-consciousness, mindfulness, each and everything you can make use accordingly. And if you are expecting a traditional one, your progress is so slow. If you are with a anything goes kind of a idea, I would say it is very radical. And Buddhists will not be happy. Specifically Buddhism will not be with you. But Buddha Dhamma will be with you. So slowly you are going away with the tradition, with the conventional kind of thing. You try your best to be here and now. Anything valid.
Honorable Sir, I start by describing my primary object and then the secondary object, and then I will ask you to comment and to advise me on how to proceed. I've tried hard to keep my primary object as the in-breath and the out-breath. So, for the most part, the in-breath is fast and short. I think the air gets sucked in faster, and the out-breath is slower and longer. Gradually, as I progress with each session, I become more relaxed, and the in-breath and the out-breath become closer in length, or maybe equal in length. In the midst of all of this, there are also secondary objects that come and go. The main secondary object is thinking and remembering, but not very intensely. Even if it's a lot of thinking, they are not strong emotions. They're just stuff that comes and goes. Then a secondary object is that I find my body swaying either left to right or front to back. And it is happening increasingly. And so when I experience the secondary object, the swaying is totally out of control. I mean, even the thinking is not within my control. And I try to bring my mind back to the breath. And the breath will continue with the swinging. In fact, the swinging is aligned with the breath, almost as though it is being controlled by the breath. But then the third secondary object is I seem to give out heat. So my body gets very warm, not cold. Sound seems to bother me rarely, so I will hear it, but it doesn't penetrate. There can be quite a lot of noise, and it rarely ever actually disturbs. So those are the main secondary objects. I try my best to keep coming back to the breath. Of course, I have to. So I'd like your comment and advice on how to proceed from here, Venerable Sir, to develop further.
So I clearly hear when the swaying happens, you know it is beyond your control, but still you can have the familiarity or acquaintance with the breath. So this is a very, very good, very sappy, very juicy statement. So I would like to cross-question you in the swaying, and when the bending happens and the breath happens, which one is closer to you and which one is far away? Or is it changing the mode?
That's tough to answer, because the swaying seems to be influenced by the breathing. It is the breath that moves the body.
So that means moving happens, and that is close, and through that you can see the breath. It will be beyond the moving and swaying body.
No, the breath affects the body. It is when the lungs move, it seems to stimulate movement of the whole body.
Can you say it is the movement is within the breath?
It is the result of the breath.
It is?
A result of the breath.
So that means it is within the capacity of the breath.
Yes,
so
I'm assuming that's why they are aligned.
So that indicates the breath is air element. Air element have some movements.
Okay.
So this is yet another additional factor, additional facet of the breath. So therefore you have nothing to worry that you have devoid of the breath or nothing like that. Breath is there, swaying is also there. If you concentrate on the breath, the swaying stops. And if you are letting otherwise, the swaying and bending can happen. So when and where it happens, I can give three conditions, three situations. Breath only you are mindful, swaying only you are mindful, breath and swaying available, you are mindful.
I'm mindful of both, but concentrating more on the breath.
So I can say theoretically, sometimes there are only the breath you are mindful, well and good. Yet another time, swaying only, you are mindful, well and good. Yet another time, breath and the swaying both the well, you are mindful. As far as you are discriminating them, you have a lot to do. If you see all the three are equal, you are enlightened.
Okay. But I can't say the same of the thinking.
No, that you gave enough information about the swaying.
Yes.
And she also thought about, you are also talking about the thinking also the same. When you are comparing thinking as the secondary object, you may come into a situation where only the breath, no thinking, and you are aware. From there may be only the thinking, no breathing, still you are aware. And there may be thinking and breath, you are aware. You don't care which one is good or bad, then you are enlightened.
The problem is I care. I keep trying to come back to the breath.
Yeah, that is your foolishness. That is what I would like to teach you, hit you and clarify you. Because that we have discrimination, that means. We have a choice. Choiceless awareness means at the beginning, yes, in the theoretical, you try to maximize the pure breathing with the full mindfulness in order to recognize mindfulness. And once that breathing is given and serve the purpose and introduce mindfulness, naturally secondary object come and make your life very dramatic and very eventful and very multitasking. And even then you try to impose the mindfulness, singly or primary object, mindful, singly secondary object distraction, still mindful, and you are mixed up, still mindful, that means. So then you can add the third tertiary object. And fifth, like, no end. No end. First to second is very difficult. Because you have a choice about our purity. We think that the pure mind or the only with the primary object is the best. I mean, that is the way we are teaching mindfulness. But ultimately accommodating yet another one. And then you try to do away with any worries and discrimination and choice. And then the third fellow coming, fourth fellow coming, ultimately you find everything happening in harmoniously. But you know, if they are in doubt, you refer to the breath. If there is no doubt, consider everything as equal. There is no worries, no discrimination, no tension.
Okay.
Our mind is very vast field. At the beginning only we reduce all the variable factors and reduce to one, and then introduce variable by variable. And that is the way it is. Ultimately is going to the omniscient knowledge. While you are being observing here, you can be aware what is happening in his mind. No limits. Slowly you are expanding, you are diversifying. Slowly you make it dramatic. So don't do it, but it is happening. You are just accommodating as and when it happens. So the way you explain in the clarity, that indicates you have enough capacity now. You can play hell. Ask the mind to do anything you like. Who cares? I am mindful.
Yes, I don't care. You're right.
That is the carelessness.
Yes. Not only my own mind, anyone can do anything they want and I don't care.
So that is the way we can remove the shackle. Otherwise we are always on the hook.
Yes.
We remove the shackle or we straighten the shackle and then who cares?
Thank you, Venerable Sir.
Venerable Sir, I was meditating this afternoon. Just I started, but I couldn't find any in-breath or out-breath. Just happened to tighten my body all over from the bottom of the legs, started tightened and up to the throat, and I couldn't get any in-breath or out-breath. I just observed, and after then I didn't only the tightness I feel. I couldn't get any breath, but I just observed and stayed. After a while it becomes it's nothing. I didn't feel tightness and didn't feel any sounds or something. But I could stay about half an hour or so like that. But after a while, the thought became, it's recognition of elements. That's all become a cough, and I got awakened from the meditation. I don't understand what's happening, that even recognition of elements or something, that about the tightness. Previously I didn't happen that tightness about the body. Yeah.
So it's a statement or a question or anybody?
Yeah, I just want to know, Venerable, is it recognition of earth element, or the tightness becomes because of the recognition of elements or something?
We have to understand, tightness never exists for long. It comes and gives rise to another kind of a thing. It's ever changing. So if you are going to question and if you are going to analyze why the tightness comes, it is a destructive question. Only we have to ask what must be my behavior towards that. What is the way I must discipline towards that. To understand tightness just arises to pass away. Or the lightness arises to pass away. So if you are going to make a point out of that, a case out of that, that is the point where the tension comes. Everything comes to go away. Everything comes to go away. So you keep it mind open. It is like a sky. Lot of clouds are passing. And not a single cloud has a permanent shape. Not a single cloud has a ability to smear the sky. So they are passing. If you are going to claim, if you are going to analyze, that is the point you make fabrications, you make volitional involvement, I would say committing into that. Don't get committed. Once you're committed, you are answerable. They are passing through because they are not coming according to your intention. So as far as it is not your intention, they have no defiling capacity. They have no sankhara. They have no karmic forces. Soon you are going to take this as a special issue, special case. That is the point you get committed, then onward you are answerable. So let anything can happen, because within the frame of meditation, anything can come. What you picked is karmically or according to your personality trait or liking and disliking, that make your storytelling. Otherwise we can say, at a given time, 1001 impingements are coming. We select one according to our likings and dislikes. We select one due to our personality trait. We select particular thing due to our karmic connections. And that becomes whole world then. You forget everything. You don't know how much you forget by selecting one. That very selection is you are, who you are. So be aware of it, but don't claim that I selected. You have to say, it happened like that, it selection happened. I'm not claiming it as myself. If you are going to give more additional understanding to see the content, why it is happening and how it's content, there is a kind of appreciation. You are getting more and more committed. You have to let it pass away, replaced by yet another one. Nothing is going to make a clear impingements, permanent impingements, no durable impingement. That is what the Buddha says, it is ever evolved, changing nature. Out of that, don't hold into one frame. Don't hold into one case. Don't into one element. That is the point you misbehave towards that or react into that. This is called assuming. Unassuming is the vipassana. So that means next moment you are solely fresh. Even the last moment was fully depressed and no hilarious kind of thing. Next moment you are fresh. That is what I recognize, I call it as rejuvenation. Otherwise you are in senility. Day by day you become old age and white hairs and all the kind of thing. But if you are ready to be fresh for the next moment, ever young.
Bhante, while meditating, how do you...
You have to switch on 2 times.
Bhante, while meditating?
You have to listen the sound, your own sound from the mic. Yes.
Bhante, how do you overcome sleepiness while meditating? Apart from walking, are there any other exercises that I could perform to overcome sleepiness?
So you have to understand that whenever we do away with the household work and come and sit, 5 hindrances. The desire, and the hatred, and the sloth and over the sleepiness, and the past and the future calculation and the doubts. So one or the other thing is come and distract us. So therefore you have to expect them in meditation. So it is nothing specific to you. I say everyone is undergoing. You have already recognized that walking meditation is good to mobilize your energy. So therefore it is like before you take the car from the garage, after long stay, you have to warm up the engine and let the battery get little charged so that you know it can run again and again. So it is like a recharging battery after long standby of a car battery. Second tactic is in meditation, in sitting. This is before sitting, walking. In sitting, noting. Calling the object by name. In breath, if you are observing in breath, you note it as in. If observing out, out. And then if you feel the sleepiness creeping, you note it in. Out, 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 out. Like when you are going, more and more energy releasing happens. And then your mind can't do away with. So, but the concentration will be broken. Your serenity will be broken. But the concentration at that time is a sick one. It is not well backed by the energy. So therefore you have to forego the concentration and keep on noting, mental noting, rigorous noting. And then once the mind becomes agile, mind becomes mobilized, then again you have to go for the slowing down of the noting or do away with noting. Or this is the second option, the noting. And Venerable Mahasi Sayadaw is the person who must get the credit. He is the person introduced this noting into the meditation. And some people say it is Montessori job. It is a second grade job. Why should we meditate as far as we know? But you will understand the value of meditation, value of noting, whenever the sleepiness is going to come in. And I would like to add third part, that is to say, whenever the meditation is going well, whenever the face-to-face with the object, still through the boredom, the sleepiness can come in. But that is not sloth and torpor. That is due to disinterest, that is due to the boredom and monotony that can happen. So when that happens, it will still, if you can keep the track with the primary object, you feel the individual characteristic or 2 modes of the in-breath and out-breath now flat off. When this flattening off happens, the dramatic nature, the eventful nature of the object reduces. There also this sleepiness can come in. But if, I don't know, by the statement you made, I can't see whether it is a sloth and torpor or sleepiness with a defilement or this kind of thing. If that kind of sleepiness or slippery mind or escaping mind or hiding mind happens, it happens through the primary object. And again you awaken into the primary object. That means in between you can't account for. But before leaving it was with the primary object. Soon after awakening it was awakening into the primary object. That you have to handle carefully. That is not a defilement. So your statement won't say that when this sleepiness happens, can you still be aware of your primary object or not? If you can add that statement, we can proceed the discussion.
Yes, Bhante. It is. When I am in and out of the breath, and then suddenly I do have that period that I can't account for. And when I wake up, or I believe I'm sleeping, then I'm back again at the breath.
So that means you are not qualified to call this as sleepiness. This is not sleepiness. It's a kind of a hiding. Mind is hiding because it is always asking something repeating, something colorful, something eventful. So when the object loses its modes and is flat off to the datum line, say mind find escapism, mind find slipping off. So there you have to have double dose mindfulness. Double dose, the second rocket you start by preparedness. Whenever the mind becomes face-to-face with that glued or face-to-face with the object, you have to understand, more they come into the very immediate, very close, the object loses its modes, and there you have to expect now the sleepiness will creep in. So there you have to not only observing the fading off side of the object or disappearing part of the object, but again you have to expect, now I am dealing with the materiality in breath and out breath. While I am observing the materiality, a mentality called sleepiness creeping in. So you have to have two eyes. One thing to see the dwindling of disappearing object, and the other eye to detect the oncoming sleepiness. So you have to understand how much the surveillance. The Buddha explained, whenever milking cow, according to the Sri Lankan system, not according to the New Zealand system, the cow tie into the tree and the calf is running. So cow has to keep one eye to the calf, other eye to the grazing. Because if it is not grazing, no milk. But the calf is running here and there. Whenever it is going beyond the eye shot, it has to call it back. So it is doing two jobs. Two eyes, two jobs. Grazing it with one eye, other eye keeping on the calf. It is very playful. So likewise, you have to see the object is slowly disappearing. Sleepiness is slowly creeping. So you have to have the full double dose mindfulness, that is called skillful mindfulness. Vipulla sati, akhanda sati. So that is how it is asking for the higher grade. So you get a difficult question paper now. And once you answered, you go to the higher grade. And in the higher grade, another difficult question. Again, you go up there. Likewise, the challenge will be increased. But the tricky thing, but the definement piece, you always fail to say, while the sleepiness come in, I can see the in-breath and out-breath. By your initiative, you will never tell. This is the defilement. This is what the teacher has to really pick you up and cross-question you to ask what is the relationship. While there is sleepiness creeping in, what is the relationship with the primary object? You listen to any person years and years, by their initiative, they never report. It is not a personal mistake. It is not a punishable mistake. But the moment you come to know a new arena, new paradigm shifting can take place in meditation. So it is usually happening, sometimes in the Dhamma talks also. Usually it happens in discussions.
Bhante, this is just an experience today. I was up there at the walking path. At one point, I actually had an alarm clock because I wasn't sure, because I had no way of timing myself. At one point, it was at 10:15 exactly. I was in a deep, I cannot explain because I'm very new to meditation. That's what I thought, that I was actually sleeping at one point, but I suddenly woke up, but I was scared. I cannot explain why I got scared. But immediately I think I felt, am I alone? Because I think there was one person there, but all the others have left. But I actually felt fear in me. And I'm generally not a person who is generally scared of anything. So that really kind of upset me today, Bhante. Just a statement.
In order to explain this situation, Godwin used to say, to understand the loneliness and aloneness. Our mind with the defilement, it is loneliness. Buddha called is aloneness. Exactly the same thing. But when the loneliness shifts into aloneness, you are enlightened. When the aloneness shifts into loneliness, you are a bloody fool. It's a paradigm shift according to the way you treat it. Because we have neophobia, fear of freedom, fear of new. Whenever the mind going to advance into the new area, it develops entertaining doubts, uncertainty, and no one to ask. You feel like lost yourself. It's a very good sign the mind is progressing. But rational mind always says, don't do this kind of risky thing. It is not, you don't know whether you are going to be insane or you are going to be paralyzed or all the kind of thing happen. If you are going to ask, consult another fool, and then finished. Then it is finished. So the person who has seen it, it will really say, even if you go fool, even if you go mad, even if you are going to die, never mind, jump. Even without that you are going to die. No problem, because it's a noble quest. You are doing with your own will. You have your own human rights to do it. And you know it is, you are in a moral discipline. And you are understanding who am I, slowly. So such a thing, at the beginning it gathered the momentum in a very painfully slow method. Ultimately, once it gathers the momentum, you can understand, am I the same person that earlier was thinking and doubt, entertaining and kind of thing? Ultimately, you learn the art. Gather the momentum slowly. At the beginning, it is very, you are running the business at a loss. And the marginal, return to the marginal cost is very slow at the beginning. And when the shape curve develop up to there, you can't imagine Dhamma is how Dhamma is working. So this is a very good sign as latter part of your statement is concerned. Okay, now we have taken 1 hour and 15 minutes. So therefore we are well off the timetable. We are supposed to stop at 7:30. Anyway, if there are any questions, or otherwise I am going to wind up the question and answer, common interviews. Any question? No? Okay, that don't find fault with me by not giving personal interviews. I hope you all are appreciating these common interviews. So therefore, I also have talked a little when compared to the individual interviews. And so that they are sharing, I'm feeling like a Dhamma family is increasing. So therefore, maybe a little bit of difficulty in your privacy and personal aspect you may sacrificing, but I am appreciating it. So we are going to continue the same. And with that remark, I would like to sum up today's common interview session. Thank you very much for the participation.